Wow. This is another great example of how astrology has really helped because it's often an issue in married couples when there are different parenting styles, you know? And what you described almost verbatim scenarios that occur maybe once a week. You know? And again, I don't say, your mom's a bitch, but I will explain to him, like stuff is important to your mom, and if you mess up her stuff, she's gonna be really upset.
Welcome, everybody, to another episode of the Lila Astrology Podcast. I'm Linnea Miron, and today we're going to be talking about the moon, a very important planet. If self-care and taking care of the people around you is important to you, this is a conversation you're going to want to tune into, and we'll show you why. So it was really important to me for this conversation to have these two men join me. They're the co-founders of Lila. And we're going to start first with Stephen Forrest. He is the best-selling author of many books, and one of them, the one he's most known for, is called The Book of the Moon. And we're going to ask him about what inspired him to write a whole book on this planet. And then we're going to talk also with Ricky. Ricky Williams is joining us, and his strongest planet is the moon. He is a moon guy and has helped bring out my moon in our relationship. And we're going to talk about that a little bit too. So welcome both of you to this Cancer Season podcast. And let's start with Steve first. So would your moon placement indicate the way in which you might parent a child, for instance? Like you could, when you look at a person's chart and you see where their moon is, the sign that it's in, does it give you a sense of how they take care of the people around them, or how they might take care of dependents in their lives?
Yeah, definitely. The axiom upon which all this rests is that the way we treat ourselves is always reflected in the way we treat other people. That is so fundamental. And the better we treat ourselves, the more likely we are to be kind towards others. Um, let's in terms of parenting, every paperback book that's ever been written on the subject tells you exactly what to do. Here's how you're supposed to parent. And then you read another book and it tells you something different, and the idea is that each of us will have a different path as far as nurturing other people, and be true to ourselves, kind of trust that the universe has given you the moon that you have, because that's the kind of parent you're supposed to be. And no problem. Or if there's any problem, it's going to be other people thinking you're doing it wrong. But after a while, you get used to that.
Right. Well, yeah. So if I have a Capricorn moon, a certain type of nurturing style, but my child has a Pisces moon,
Yeah.
right? So I have a first house Capricorn moon. He has a second house Pisces moon. How do I take my Capricorn orientation? Do I integrate Pisces into it in order to, that thing of treat people how they want to be treated, not how you want to be treated?
Mhm.
Do I orient to Pisces nurturing because his moon is there?
Mhm. That's an act of kindness towards him, to be sensitive to his moon and let it inform you about his needs. And at the same time, uh, an act of kindness towards yourself is not second guessing yourself too much about that Capricorn moon of yours. I'm a big smile on my face here, thinking of you two and our friend Soul. Your son, and how it's like there's Linnea with a Capricorn moon, there's Ricky with a Cancer moon. Traditionally, Capricorn is the father, Cancer is the mother, so we have this kind of cool gender reversal. And there will be times when you two are doing your dharma with your son when Linnea will be setting boundaries and teaching Soul about the law of consequences. You did this thing, and so this is what's going to happen to you as a result of this infraction or this stupid move, that she is teaching him Capricorn energy. She's good at that. And maybe he doesn't like it. Who likes to be corrected? And maybe he's a little hurt. Don't worry about it, Linnea. Ricky will take care of him and take him aside and say, sometimes your mom is really a bitch, Hopefully he doesn't do it exactly that way, but, let him trust his instincts as infinitely forgiving, infinitely nurturing. And if either one of you failed to give him the gift of your moons, your son would be in trouble. He needs both.
Wow. This is another great example of how astrology has really helped, because it's often an issue in married couples when there are different parenting styles,
Yeah.
And the nature of an opposition typically will either complement or polarize,
Yeah.
And we would be ripe for that, and what you described almost verbatim scenarios that occur maybe once a week. And again, I don't say, your mom's a bitch, but I will explain to him, like, stuff is important to your mom, and if you mess up her stuff, she's going to be really upset,
That's a good example. Yeah. Because I'm much more earthy and aware of earth stuff than the two of them, for sure. Definitely more than a toddler. And but Ricky, I'll hear Ricky say, like, because I'll get angry at Soul much more. I get angry at him much more often than Ricky does, right? That Capricorn part of, like, what are you doing? Don't do that. There's just so many things I'm telling him, don't do that, don't do that, don't do that, don't do that, and I'm trying to find other ways to say it, but all these Capricorn things I don't want him to do, that he just goes for. And I'll hear Ricky, then he'll cry and go to Ricky, and Ricky will be like, Mama doesn't like that. Doesn't like it. Like he'll explain it. But it's objective, but he's giving him another perspective on it. And just like, Mama doesn't like that, and it's not going to work out for you to go up against her on this, just learn what she likes and what she doesn't like, sort of thing. But it's nice, because you're right. It could be so polarizing. And even our sun square, which we talked about in a previous podcast, the Gemini Pisces square, that could be also a difficulty that I think I'm just so appreciative, as you say, for a methodology like astrology to help me orient these energies in my mind and feel what's really going on and navigate these things that would otherwise be really difficult without that orientation.
And the kindness you give the kindness you give yourself, Linnea, about being a first-time mother, knowing that the moon square the south node, and so when there's something that is kind of wonky and I come in and I comfort Soul, I rarely see you feel self-conscious or feel bad about it, and that helps so much. And I don't know, it's been a joy, like, raising Soul with you. And I think it's the moon connection, because there is a complementarity that we can appreciate in our parenting styles.
Yeah. Complementarity rather than polarization. I want to pick up on just a phrase Ricky used that was really charged for me. He's back to parenting Soul. Ricky takes Soul aside and says, your mommy really doesn't like that. It's almost an exact quote. And we think about it, this is Ricky's Cancer moon instinct giving instruction to Soul's moon, saying, these are not his words, but this is his message. So Soul, of course you don't want to hurt your mother. Of course we all love each other. And your mommy doesn't like this. So, if you modify this behavior, you'll be making her happy. You'll be supporting her in her happiness. And what a Cancer message that is. Here's a way you can be kind, informed in your kindness towards your mother. And Soul's Pisces moon soaks that up like a sponge, that easy trine, the trine aspect, Cancer moon to the Pisces moon. Meanwhile, Linnea's Capricorn moon in a sextile to the Pisces sun, another supportive, harmonious aspect, a little bit different. And so as Soul matures, maybe you're seeing this already, but certainly as he matures, anyone with a Pisces moon, to take care of their soul, S-O-U-L, they have to sit on the mountaintop in meditation. It's kind of a metaphor. All mystics, and Soul's got the soul of a mystic, they need time alone. They need time away from the world. Maybe just sitting in the room, maybe gazing out the window, maybe daydreaming, but time alone. That's something Linnea understands. She needs it too. And so her ability to support Soul when he shows a need for solitude, and perhaps even more importantly, her ability to model that. And so I could imagine, and here, Linnea's Capricorn and Pisces herself with her Pisces sun. And so I'm imagining a conversation that Linnea and Soul have. It could happen now, maybe in a couple of years. And here it is. Linnea is meditating, and Soul says, I'm hungry. Let's have lunch. And Linnea says, in a minute, I'm talking with God. I'm having a little talk with God. And she closes her eyes again. Not for long, 90 seconds. And what a gift that is for Soul, because she has just demonstrated and sort of legitimized the idea of closing your eyes and having a little talk with God. What a gift to give a kid with a Pisces moon. And it's a gift she could give without even thinking it was a gift, just by being herself. And then she makes lunch.
I love that.
It's always a joy to watch Steve work. This ability to like tune into the possibilities with each of the placements and to speak to them. And 99% of the time, like it's like almost verbatim the experiences. It's beautiful.